I always give all his credit, no, but we need to run it back. That's why my tough. When after the fight, I say we need to run it back this fight because I don't feel the way I really want, and I need to make this fight happen again, no, and it's gonna be different. I think for him to deserve all the credit, he need to give me the rematch, obviously. But he decided to retire, and we need to accept that and move forward.
You know what? Sometimes you try and your body cannot go, right? That's my frustration. Maybe I can figure out Crawford, but my body cannot go anymore. So I try it, but my body just no let me go.
I have a burning question for you that I think everyone wants to know. Is there going to be a Canelo rematch? Is there a rematch clause? That's something you're thinking about?
I'm not even thinking about that right now. And quite frankly, I don't think it is a rematch clause. And if it is, nothing has been said to me about fighting him again or anything.
Do you think Canelo would want to get back in the ring with you? Or do you think it's better for him to just or more lucrative to go fight elsewhere for the rest of his career?
I think it would be better for him to fight somebody else because my style is just, a bad matchup for him now.
Terence Crawford, after delivering a career-defining victory, has made his position crystal clear. He has openly addressed Canelo Alvarez's sudden push for a rematch, and he is not entertaining any late excuses. Crawford already proved he has the strategy and mental strength to break down the Mexican icon in a real fight, not just survive him. This goes beyond protecting his record. It is about respect. And Crawford is ready to close the door on the excuse narrative once and for all.
Did you watch the Terence Crawford Canelo Alvarez fight?
Yeah, I did.
Ooh, talk about slick. Oh my goodness. Who's ever done that? Who's ever jumped up 2 weight classes like that? It's crazy.
Scary.
He's so clever, and it got to the point where he got so comfortable, he's like pit-patting him, and then like, what? And you're watching, like, this is amazing.
Like, that's history, obviously. You shouldn't be able to do that. You shouldn't be able to fight at that weight for the first time ever.
Against one of the greatest
greatest of all time, and do what you did. You're beyond an outlier. You're an anomaly.
Crawford achieved what many believed was impossible, jumping multiple weight classes to challenge the naturally bigger Saul Canelo Alvarez. Instead of playing defense, he delivered a dominant performance. Standing right in front of Canelo, he used smart footwork, clean counters, and tight defense that left the super middleweight champion shaken and frustrated. The most important moment came after the final bell. At the press conference, Canelo accepted defeat without blaming anything. He admitted he could not solve Crawford's style and even stated that Crawford was better than Floyd Mayweather. It was a rare moment of open respect.
And lastly for me, champ, in the world of comparisons that we live in right now, if you can, compare and contrast the fight between yourself and Floyd Mayweather Jr. and tonight's bout with Terence Bud Crawford, if you can.
No, I think Crawford is way better than Floyd Mayweather.
Only a few months later, that respectful tone has disappeared. Canelo has now changed his explanation, and fans are questioning the sudden shift. He says his body failed him that night, mentioning serious leg cramps, elbow trouble that required surgery, and a loss of focus. The boxing world is not kind when fighters change their stories, and social media reacted quickly. Many compared his new claims to Deontay Wilder's well-known costume excuse. The change feels strange, especially from someone who built his reputation on taking responsibility. Things grew more confusing when Canelo demanded a rematch, claiming Crawford must fight him again in September to get full credit. The reality is simple. There was no rematch clause in their contract. Crawford intentionally avoided special conditions, so there would be no doubt about his win. With Crawford planning to retire in December 2025, Canelo appears to be looking for bargaining power that does not exist.
He was given a lot of credit. There's no rehydration clause, blah, blah. Oh my God, Bud's such a fighter. I'm up here making the argument. See, no excuses. He doesn't need a Mayweather rehydration clause. But really, why did he do all that? Because if you want the shot, you got to do it according to Canelo's terms.
Yes.
He still beat Canelo comprehensively and decisively. In the rematch, Crawford would be within his rights to say, okay, wait a minute. Now there's going to be a rehydration clause. Now there are going to be some things that favor me. And once that happens, it's just going to get worse for Canelo.
I wouldn't like that for Crawford's legacy. I don't think I know, but his character.
If you were Canelo, if you were Crawford, I understand what you mean. I already proved my point the first time. All right, you want the rematch? Okay, but now it's going to be on my conditions.
You maybe different money terms. Say you want parity and money, which obviously never has been with Canelo, stuff like that.
See, that's my thing. You begging for this fight, and you go on these shows where he's
I don't
nice.
think he's begging for it either.
He's not begging.
You know what? Shady loves to say that. Oh, why did Coverage or why did you get into it with fighters? You know why? Because I interact with the fighters. Let's get Canelo here, and then you say this to Canelo.
You think I'm gonna get this thing? I don't care about none of that.
Listen, man.
Most people would expect a massive financial offer to bring a retired fighter back. However, Terence Crawford has shown he thinks differently. Reports suggest Turki Alashik offered around $100 million for a second fight. For almost any athlete, that amount would be impossible to refuse. Crawford surprised everyone by declining it. He made it clear that his principles matter more than extra money, proving he is not controlled by a paycheck.
Don't got $100 million for me, don't even talk to me about it. And that's what I'm talking about, that's what I like to hear. Basically, let me translate, because we know Crawford don't like to do too much trash talking. He likes to keep it clean. What Crawford is saying to Canelo, the price on your head for a rematch is $100 million because he already collected it last time. Canelo is not going to go with the rematch. Talk is cheap. With Crawford being the A side, with Crawford getting the lion's share, with Crawford getting fair judges, mainly, Canelo is going to say, hell nah, to the no rematch. I'm telling you, he's going to start speaking English again. We haven't heard Canelo speak English for a minute now, I think. As soon as they show Canelo Alvarez the realistic terms on the contract for the rematch, he's going to wake up to reality.
Crawford's decision is based on something deeper than money. He explained that the fight itself is not the hardest part. The real damage happens during the intense training camp. Months of pushing his body to prepare for a larger opponent leave lasting effects. He is thinking about his future health and enjoying life with his family instead of risking long-term pain for one more event.
Because boxing is not all about knocking somebody out. Yes, that's part of it. That can happen, but boxing is a sport where you can outpoint somebody too. That's why they go to the scorecard.
I appreciate that take, bro. That's real educated, man, real thoughtful. But you ain't had a decision win in a long time, bro. You known for like being a great finisher. So I appreciate that. But that ain't how you moving though.
Right.
Please explain that to me. You just saying overall.
Yeah, overall.
You say, hey, I like to do this, but this is not for everybody.
It's definitely not, because it's a price to pay. It's definitely a price to pay when you fight those type of fights.
Yeah.
When everybody thinks nothing going on. Yeah. But all them punches add up.
Yeah, buddy.
All them punches add up.
He ain't got a bruise or nothing.
Yeah.
He didn't take no punishments. Like, bro, my head hurt.
Your head hurt.
I'm in this room right now trying to get right, and y'all chilling, partying downstairs.
Yeah, like all them punches add up. Punches in sparring add up. All them punches add up, and when one is good one day, and then it just all hit him out of the blue. He ain't even boxing no more. It just hit him, and then people be like, "Man, you all right, man? What's wrong with you?"
You never know when that's gonna happen.
You never know. It's gonna come.
Yeah.
But you never know.
Long enough. Yeah.
And it's just like, dang. You know what I mean? Is you all right? Yeah, I'm good. You might start slurring a little bit. You might start forgetting a lot of things. Yeah. You might get a little dementia. You might keep repeating the same thing over and over, and you don't even know it, But that's from all that accumulation of punches to the brain.
But I know you probably have too. I done been in the presence of fighters, bro, where that stuff is happening, and I'm like, where they say something to you and they just told you 2-3 minutes earlier, you like, brother, you just said that.
Definitely.
That's scary to me.
Definitely.
That's scary to me.
I look at all the...
Rather than arguing publicly, Crawford has chosen silence. While Canelo speaks on various podcasts about his complaints, Crawford has refused to respond. This quiet approach frustrates critics because it gives them nothing to debate. After his victory, Crawford asked, "What more can they say now?" That statement still stands strong. By staying silent, he protects his image and lets his clear unanimous decision win speak for itself. while Canelo continues addressing questions.
I have a burning question for you that I think everyone wants to know. Is there going to be a Canelo rematch? Is there a rematch clause? Is that something you're thinking about?
I'm not even thinking about that right now. And quite frankly, I don't think it is a rematch clause. And if it is, nothing has been said to me about fighting him again or anything.
Do you think Canelo would want to get back in the ring with you, or do you think it's better for him to just or more lucrative to go fight elsewhere for the rest of his career?
I think it would be better for him to fight somebody else, because my style is just, a bad matchup for him. Now, financially wise, I would be like, yeah, he should fight me, but like on the outside looking in, knowing boxing, you can really get hurt. So I would just tell him, like, if you're gonna continue to fight, don't get in the ring with a guy like me.
Yeah, there's a popular adage in sports, kind of gets reused over again. It's kind of cliche, Father Time is undefeated. 38 years old, we see a lot of athletes now go into their late 30s and 40s and produce at a high level. How much longer do you want to do this?
I don't know.
No clue yet? Did beating Canelo make you think about those next steps in any way, or?
Before Canelo, I was thinking about a lot, and I'm still thinking about a lot. I just haven't made my final decision. But once I make it, I'm going to make it, and I'm going to make it here soon.
Among dedicated boxing fans, there is also concern about the sport's politics. On platforms like Reddit, supporters discuss how Canelo remains a major draw and is building his own promotional brand. Some fear that if a rematch happened, the system could favor Canelo. There is worry that even if Crawford performs well again, the judges might protect Canelo's market value. For Crawford, there is little reason to risk stepping into that possibility.
I would love to see the rematch. I think in the rematch, if he comes back with the hunger that he needs, he could beat Crawford. Because Crawford, is very talented, but I think Canelo could beat him. Canelo's strong, man. Canelo's strong. Canelo could take a good punch. So I think he could just go and don't respect his punch and throw punches even though you're gonna get hit. But don't give up. Keep going until you hit him. I think rematch with Canelo would be the best thing for him to do.
If Terence Crawford does return in 2026 to face Canelo again, it would be one of the biggest fights in boxing. Still, many experts believe the outcome would repeat itself. The first fight was not close, with Crawford controlling most rounds. Analyst Wade Plemons clearly stated that a rematch would likely end badly for Saul once again.
And my only question is why? Why? Outside of a massive payday, the first fight wasn't necessarily a competitive fight, and if they do it again, I think it's going to be less competitive. I don't think this is going to go very well for one Saul. Canelo Alvarez.
Wade highlighted Canelo's repeated mistakes. He pointed to his flat stance, limited movement, and low punch activity. These weaknesses were visible in the first fight, and Crawford took full advantage. Wade believes Canelo must make serious improvements before signing for another bout. Meanwhile, Crawford already understands the formula and would only need to execute it again.
I don't know how this goes well for Canelo in a rematch. Honestly, you look at the first fight, and the things that plagued Canelo were essentially the things that plague him against most boxers. His flat feet, his lack of movement, his lack of volume. He couldn't get to Terence. He was overextending. He was getting caught with counter shots as he overextended. The big shown around, memed, and replayed moment of the fight is Canelo trying to throw a hook and a right hand, and Terence Crawford slipping on the outside and banging the left-hand counter behind it. Canelo was beaten to the punch from distance. He was beaten in exchanges, and even in points in the fight, he was beaten inside by Terence Crawford. This was I wouldn't say dominant, but I would say more one-sided than I thought win for Terence Crawford, where he flat out outboxed Canelo, and he took Canelo's power. Like, there were times where Canelo landed the big right hand, and Terence Crawford took it. So what would be different if they fought again? The only different thing that potentially could happen would be in Canelo's hands. He would have to find ways to be different, and as much as I would love to believe that's possible, Canelo getting up there in age, I understand Terence Crawford is older, but Terence Crawford already fights at a way that's advantageous versus Canelo. He doesn't really have to change much. And he's fighting up a couple of weight classes from where he normally did, so he doesn't have to really worry about a weight cut either, and he's filled into that weight class because he looked just as big, if not bigger, that Canelo Alvarez did on fight night. So the question is,
according to Wade, Canelo's only path to victory is delivering a near-perfect performance. He referenced one of Canelo's strongest past outings and said that same intensity and discipline are required. Canelo would need to fix every flaw from the first fight and enter the rematch aggressive and sharp against Crawford.
Realistically think Canelo could and should and would do differently for this fight is he would have to fight Terence Crawford like he fought Sergey Kovalev at 175. That's genuinely what he would have to do. He'd have to be lighter on his feet. He'd have to throw more combinations, and he'd have to be quicker with his hands, as he was in that fight. And I'm not saying that he changes everything about himself. Canelo had success in moments with Bud Crawford, but that's what he would have to do and some, right? He would have to be able to add layers to his game and not be so flat-footed. And if he's going to combination punch, he's got to do so in the fire with Terence Crawford, which going into the first fight, I didn't think Terence Crawford was going to have as much success with his combination punching because he'd have to be in front of the powerful hands of Canelo. But again, he was able to do so off the back foot and front because Canelo threw one at a time. He threw the jab or the right hand, or he threw the hook right hand. And again, Terence Crawford remained mostly southpaw, which does give Canelo problems because now he has to lead with his backhand versus punctuate with it. And his jab gets neutralized, and it's just a mess of a fight for Canelo. It really is. I don't hate that he wants to get that back. And the matchup itself is, again, one of the only ones that Canelo can still have. Make a shit ton of money and potentially not completely kill his star.
Even with those adjustments, Wade remains doubtful. When predicting the outcome, he confidently said Terence Crawford would once again be the better fighter. He believes Crawford's style creates too many problems and suggests Canelo may be better off accepting the defeat and focusing on new challenges.
The first time he saw him, and maybe you could say, listen, Canelo just needed to see him one time to figure out that puzzle, right? He figured out Triple G, was able to re-implement it in the rematch, and then the third fight, it was not even a great fight. Canelo just did what he wanted. But this is not the case, I don't think, with Crawford. I think Crawford just has a style that is really, really tough for Canelo. And I'll be honest, if they fought again, it would be more dominant for Terence Crawford. I truly think if in 2026 they book this rematch, I think Crawford dominates him even worse. And I'm not saying he stops Canelo because I don't know if that's something that Terence could get at 168 because Canelo's chin has still really never been tested like that. Like, he didn't really get hurt in the Crawford fight. He just got outboxed. But maybe he potentially would be able to stop him. But I just think it would be more one-sided than we saw in the first fight and would just reestablish that Terence Crawford is that fucking guy in this sport right now. The top guy, the head honcho in this sport, which is, I don't know. I mean, is it dangerous to Canelo's legacy to lose to the best of this era and the best of the era previously? I don't know. Like, did Canelo ever have an era where he was the best in the world? Maybe that's the question he's still trying to answer himself, and why he would want this rematch with Crawford. But when I see this news coming out of him wanting the rematch, having the elbow surgery, maybe in his mind going, okay, my elbow wasn't fresh, I wasn't able to turn my shots over, so that's why I can win this rematch. I like the competitive nature of it. I don't like the fight for him. I think the matchup's all wrong for Canelo. I think this style of fight, in terms of what Terence Crawford does well, is counterpunching off the front and back foot, his ability to go from range with his jab, be inside with it too, protect himself, catch counter with punches. He's got just a different timing that Canelo really has on his punches, and then you pair it with the volume that Terence Crawford can throw, and his feet, and his angles. This is the bad match.
In the end, Terence Crawford played his move perfectly. He moved up in weight, defeated a major star, secured financial stability, and stepped away with his reputation untouched. Sometimes true strength is knowing when to walk away. Now the debate continues. Is Canelo damaging his own legacy with these late explanations, or does Crawford owe fans one more showdown? Share your opinion below. If you enjoyed the video, like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you never miss the next update. Thanks for watching, and see you in the next video.